Joining us is Dr. Rajan Kumar from School of International Studies, JNU. Dr. Kumar, good evening and welcome. What do you make of the timing of the test and announcement of the super weapon by Russia?
Thank you, Shubhendu, for having me here. This is very interesting development, and Russia is trying to catch up with the West. What is happening between the two countries, and also between not only two countries but also NATO and Russia, that there is an arms race going on between the two sides. One is trying to catch up. Russia has, with this test, this is important, Burevestnik, what do you call it? A storm petrel, that's the translation. So what essentially it means that Russia has now nuclear propulsion system through which it can hit a long target. That this missile can remain, it can remain afloat forever. For days and maybe as long as the nuclear this energy that you have. Also, it's a cruise missile, which means that it cannot be detected easily by the missile defense system that US has been planning. And as you know, Trump is planning to invest heavily on what he calls Golden Dome, a missile defense system for the United States. But unfortunately, if you have this kind of missile, so then US will find it extremely difficult to protect. So it's a cruise missile. It's a low flying missile from 10 to 50 meters, or maybe 100 meters. And it cannot be easily detected. But if I tell you the larger story, that arms disarmament treaties which existed between two sides right since the Soviet Union period, and all of them barring just one, START 2, which is going to end next year, all of them have collapsed. One important treaty between the two sides, was this, what do you call it, INFTT, Intermediate Range, nuclear, the treaty which was signed in 1987. And now, this in 2019, this United States decided to withdraw, and as a consequence, both the sides started developing, the short-term, long range, and all kind of missiles. Just a few days back or a few weeks earlier, you might have heard of Oreshnik missile, which was a ballistic missile. Yeah, so Oreshnik missile, that was ballistic, and this one is cruise. This one is not only cruise, but also because it's nuclear powered, and it has a capacity to carry both the warheads, conventional warheads, or even the nuclear warheads. So that makes it very deadly. This is kind of considered to be a very powerful and important missile. Russia has actually gone far ahead of United States as far as this technology is concerned. So that.
And Dr. Kumar, in this context, how will the West, the US, Europe, they're likely to receive this news and react?
I think there is a background to it. The background was that because the ceasefire is not a ceasefire agreement, which they were about to hold it in Budapest, that collapsed. And after that, Russia also had a nuclear drill just a few days ago.
Yes.
Yes, and Russia fears that it's very likely that if the ceasefire doesn't happen, or if some kind of negotiations between the two sides do not happen, in which case United States might provide a Tomahawk missile. Tomahawk is again a cruise missile, and that can carry both this nuclear as well as conventional warhead. So Tomahawk was a likely fear that Russia had. As a consequence, Russia is trying to send a very powerful strategic message to the West, to NATO especially, that this kind of technology Russia has, and this can be used if NATO doesn't understand. So that is the political meaning of this missile, in my view.
And Dr. Kumar, finally, while we're talking about the missile, you mentioned the ceasefire in the context of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. What is the road ahead? The kind of muscle flexing that we are witnessing in the past few days, what is the road ahead for the conflict which is underway?
See, there is a very deep misperception between the two sides. But for instance, Russia does not believe that the United States and NATO they are serious about the ceasefire. Russia thinks ceasefire would be used by Ukraine to accumulate more weapons and fight in the future. Because at the moment, Russia has massive advantage. In the same meeting that you are showing the video where Putin with Gerasimov and other defense personnel in his meeting there. So in that, the Gerasimov is making a statement that there are several areas in Donetsk and Luhansk which Russia is advancing. And they have encircled, it seems if Russians are to be believed, they have encircled a large number of Ukrainian army, and they're likely to kind of surround it escalate further, and they are going to move ahead. As a consequence, this war is likely to continue because Russia doesn't trust the ceasefire. That Western countries are serious about the ceasefire. Also, the commitment that Russia wants from the West that the territories that it has captured, those territories should be recognized by NATO, by Ukraine. That is unlikely to happen. As a consequence, Russia is insisting on what it calls a long-term peace deal, and which means neutrality of Ukraine, Ukraine not becoming a member of NATO, and also no nuclear forces, no NATO forces in Ukraine, and also the acceptance of the accepting that these territories are part of Russia, which Russia has captured in Ukraine. So these are the tricky issues which Russia calls the root causes. So until Russia says that unless you discuss the root causes, we are not going to have the ceasefire. So I don't think that ceasefire is going to happen sometime soon.
Okay, Dr. Rajan Kumar, thank you for joining us on the News Hour and sharing your perspective.
Thank you.